Good evening and welcome to the Radical Race Series. Round number 5 takes us to Norway at the Rudskogen Motor Centre. I am Tom Kent in the commentary position. Alongside me is James Parfitt, who'll be with me for not just one, but 2 races lined up involving the SR8s and the SR10s. We are in the closing minutes of qualifying, around about 3 minutes to go, with Alexander Schutske at the top of the timing pages with a 1 minute 15.7, followed by James Berry, who is the fastest out of the SR10s with a 1 minute 15.8. In terms of the championship standings, let's have a rundown as to where we are with that. It is Alexander Schutske, who took the sprint race win last week at Long Beach. He's top of the pile with 315 points. Then Simon Edwards in second place on 309, followed by Rob Woodward, who's a bit of a gap behind on 279. It's George Gonzalo in fourth on 277, tied with the second of the Schutskes, that is Christian. There in the top 5, and we've got Heinz Braun, Bruno Vittorino, Phil Glover, Stefan Mellis, Christoph Lipp, running out the top 10 scorers with the likes of Mehmet Akis, Marcus Lang, Tobias Treacle, Fabio Regis, Patricio Gomez, Steve Webb, Gray Matthews, Kevin Harwood, James Berry, Sully Reitinen, Sebastian Lipp, Javid Brown, Nino Rodriguez, Henry Sweetlake, Taras Vosberg, Jamie Bird, Seth Brown, Paul LeMay, James Franznik, Afonso Kiras, and Giuseppe Regis, all have scored so far. Let's introduce James into the booth. He's not feeling the best at the moment, but he has taken the time to be here tonight. James, good evening. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. Not bad at all. How's it all going? It's going to be an interesting one. Not a fan of Rudskogen. I've got to be honest. It's a baby circuit. It's fairly new. Come alive in 1990, and I think that it's not that great. It's had a facelift in 2012, made it a little bit longer. It's now 2 miles with 3.254 kilometres in length, 13 14 turns on the circuit, I should say. But it's going to be an interesting one to see how they get on here as well. This good mix of cars. We've got Christian Schutske up front with his brother behind him, Alex there as well. So 2 SR8s leading the way over Barry and Edwards and Lipp. Good field here tonight. Marcus Lipp, Christian Lipp, Simon Edwards, James Barry, the Schutskes. It's going to be a battle on half, surely.
Absolutely 100%. I have to say, it is a very new circuit for me, is Rudskogen. I've never really heard of it until like a few weeks back. But it is Herman Tilke that designed it, apparently. And the driver with the track record is Marc Genet in a Scuderia Formula 1 Ferrari back in 2013. The lap time, it was a 1 minute 9.5 at 07. These cars are actually not too far off that particular time. But in tonight's matters, Christian Schutske is at the top of the pile, but he ended up pole position for the sprint race last week before being jumped off the line by his brother Alexander before his brother went on to take victory that time around. It is Christian who's fastest ahead of his brother, so it could be history repeating itself this evening.
Yeah, it could well be, and I think it's interesting that the Schutskes have kind of brought the SR8 into this equation and got it up the front and really kind of grabbed it by the neck and dragged it up there. You know, you've got Marcus Lang, he's there as well, sitting in 3rd overall in class, 6 overall, 3rd in class, and then it's the likes of Akis further back, and Robert Woodward sitting there. Robert having a good season, of course, sitting in the championship currently at the moment in 3rd, so we'll see how he gets on here once again. Interested to see the likes of Steve Webb, Robert Williams and Giuseppe Regis down the bottom end of the field. No times on the board. I'm going to be interested to see if they do set times here as well. But we can bring you up the grid now.
And it is Christian Schutske on pole position once again with his brother Alexander alongside James Berry, the highest of the SR10s, in 3rd place ahead of Simon Edwards. Then it's Christoph Lipp and Marcus Lang on row number 3, followed by Sebastian Lipp and Chris Sutis, who's competed for the first time this season. Bruno Vittorino and Mehmet Akis on row number 5. Then it's Phil Glover and Robert Woodward on row number 6. Fabio Regis and Heinz Braun on row 7, followed by Patricio Gomez and Nino Rodriguez. Stefan Mellis and Steve Webb on row 9. At the back row, we've got Robert Williams and Giuseppe Regis.
There we go. There we go. I'm going to be interested to see how all these guys get on and what's going to happen here. A couple of people at the back. Giuseppe Regis, Rob Williams and Steve Webb. None of them got times, but they are out on track. Simon Edwards sitting in 4th at the moment. It's going to be an interesting one for him. I don't think I've ever seen him lower than 1st or 2nd on the grid. So seeing him down in 4th is going to be an exciting one for me.
We'll find out soon enough. There are 2 races. I've already mentioned there is the sprints and there's the feature. The sprints Looking at the number of laps we've got for tonight here in Norway, we've got 11 laps for the sprint, 18 for the feature. So keep an eye out on how this race pans out. We've got 3 lights on, 4 and 5. Lights are on. Lights off. It's go in Rudskogen. It's a good getaway from the front of the field. That is Alexander Schuster, who's got the jump on his teammates. So a repeat of what had happened last week at Long Beach. Alexander getting the jump on Christian off the line. Christian's got his hands full with James Barry going through the first couple of corners. Barry will have the inside line, but with the nature of these cars, the SR8s should have an advantage during the corners, whereas the SR10s are faster in a straight line. Barry has the inside line down towards turn number 4. And that is Barry through into second place, James.
Yeah, great start there as well from James Barry, but poor old Christian down 2 places at the moment, sitting in 3rd. Christoph Lipp in 4th, Sebastian 5th. Where is Simon Edwards gone? He's out. Oh,
Yeah, he's not showing these circulating rounds. I wonder there might be a glitch within iRacing itself in terms of where he is on the circuit. I think he is on the circuit somewhere, but it's not showing where he is. It might update after the first lap, and then we'll have a better idea as to where Edwards is, but it doesn't look like he's showing these circulating around. We'll get more on that in a moment. We've got Schuster who leads, Alexander that is, James Barry 2nd, Christian Schuster 3rd, then it's the 2 Lips of Christoph and Sebastian in 4th and 5th. Marcus Lang is in 6th place, Bruno Fitzerino has made up ground in P7 from 9th on the grid, but it's Heinz Braun who's the biggest gainer out of all of it. He's up from 14th to 9th.
Yeah, he's done a great job up 5 places. I'm just trying to find out what's happened to Simon next. He's down in 20th at the moment. He jumped back to pit lane. He jumped back to pit lane as so whether or not he's come back, but it does look like Patricio Gomez has had some drama towards the back end of the field. Unfortunately for him, it's very, very slow, looks like there as well. I'm not going to lie, it does look very trickly. Oh, he's just got a bit close to Rob Williams, and around he has gone. But yeah, Schipska leading the way out in front, Barry 2nd, but he has got Christian climbing all over him.
Yep, Barry all over the back of Schuster. We're on board with James Barry. This is the rear view, or the rear wing view of his SR10. That is Christian Schuster directly behind him. And look and see if there's anyone making places. It looks like Fabio Regis has made up places further back on Chris Soutis for 12th position. Phil Glover is the next driver ahead of him. He'll be giving chase. Phil Glover had a good round last week at Long Beach. He was relatively happy with his performance, so we'll get a word with him on how he gets on tonight. But a good exit out of the fast right-hander. It's quite an undulating corner, actually. We've been on camber for Christian Schuster, but just no way through it. As soon as you get onto the straight, that's where the SR10s really unleash their potential.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think we've seen it multiple times. We saw it in Daytona as well, where the 10s just pulled away and left the 8s for dead. And you know, it's a good job Alex is out in front. Whether or not he's able to slow him down, Mr. Barry, for Christian to come through. Christoph Lipp tucked in behind there as well, Sebi Lipp with Marcus Lang. So it's going to be interesting. These guys going to be able to fight this out here. Some of the new drivers here, Mr. Rob Williams towards the back end. He's sitting down in 15th, up 4 places. Steve Webb just in front of him, up 4 places as well in 14th. So a couple of nice gainers towards the back end of the field. Remember, Akas has got Robert Woodward, Phil Glover, Fabio Regis, and Zoutis tucked in behind him.
And I can tell you that Simon Edwards is now up to 17th place. So the timing tower is updated properly. Nuno Rodriguez hasn't gone any further though. He's back in pit lane. I wonder what happened to him. We'll get more of that in a moment.
Just as we pick up the new drivers at the back end.
This is Rob Williams.
Yeah, he's gone and overcooked it in the corner. The back end's coming round.
Yeah, that's over at turn 7, just in front of Stefan Millis, who had a good view to avoid Rob. And so Rob is out on his way again. Christoph Lipp's got a slowdown to his name, which won't help his cause in his battle with Sebastian Lipp and his attempt to go after the leaders. But there we see James Barry. He's got Alexander Schuster ahead of him, and Christian right behind, who's determined to make up for the lost ground at the start when he was on pole. Didn't get the best of getaways, and that's handed the advantage to Alexander in this race so far. But as they come up the hill towards turns 5, 6 and 7, where the circuit just lifts itself up, this is where it gets a little bit tricky for these drivers actually around here.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the run from 8 through to 10, and you see on the right-hand side the time actually when they get on sort of any relatable kind of straight, and I say that in the minimal possible term, the gap from Christian goes up the wrong way. You know, James just pulls away from him. Christian's just, wow. Okay, he's just done that. Why we were on board with James there, I think he absolutely just sent it on him.
Yeah, he did. He got alongside, saw the gap and just went through there. Although it was a little bit exuberant there, you saw by the lockup from Christian. But nevertheless, he's through and into second place and can go after his brother, who is running about a second ahead with 7 laps remaining in this sprint race.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be able to get there or not. Barry's just got himself a slowdown. That's going to hopefully should part the ways for Seb Lip going past him. Whether or not Barry can get this slowdown off while driving, that would be mostly impressive, to be blatantly honest, if he can. But you can see Seb Lip and Barry still going at it. Barry still holding a slowdown and managing to keep going at the moment. 1.8 seconds back from Christian Schuchka already. So yeah, tough one for James Barry. Bruno Vinorino is closing in on Christoph Lip with Marcus Lang there. Then you got Heinz Braun and Mehmet Akes, and Robert Woodward, of course, sitting third in the championship at the moment. Phil Glover, Zoutis, Regis Webb and Mellis all tucked in behind him.
Yep, and Edwards has got by Rob Williams as well for 16th position, so he's made up another position. The top 10 are reversed for the feature race later, so that'll be Edwards' target in these remaining laps here. It'll be some doing, even by his standards. It's going to be quite a tough job to get that one done. A mistake by Phil Glover on the exit of that particular hairpin that's allowed Sutis to really close in. Sutis in that black livery machine, still alongside, but Phil Glover says that he has other ideas, and Sutis goes a little deep, and that's Fabio Regis, who's the next driver coming up as they exit the last corner to complete lap number 5.
Yeah, Regis tucked him right behind him at the moment. Just see there, Zoutis did go a little bit deep going through that final corner, and Regis did tuck in underneath, tried to get the inside line, couldn't quite get it on that SR8, SR10, SR8. That's what we've got behind at the moment. Regis and Webb, Mellis, Edwards, as you say, cleared Williams. I don't think Edwards will go possibly much further in 5 laps. He might end up settling for 16th in this one, but we'll see how he gets on, whether or not he's going to be able to climb through. Christian and Alex are leading out in front. Then James Barry's got his own little posse coming at him as well. Sebastian Lip, Marcus Lang, Christoph Lip, Vitorino and Heinz Braun with Mehmet Akes just tagged on the end.
Yep, the shooters are nose to tail now, around about half a second between those two. Will Christian decide to go for it on his brother at some point in the near future? We shall see. He didn't do so during the sprint race of Long Beach 7 days ago, but he'll try and put his teammate under a little bit of pressure in the remainder of this. Sutis goes past Phil Glover for position, so he's 1 position away from reverse grid pole. There is Fabio Regis right on board. He's behind Phil Glover, who is beginning to struggle, I think. I don't know if his tyres are beginning to fall away by this point. I wouldn't have thought they would be, considering how short of a race this one is compared to the feature of later on.
Yeah, I don't think it's a tyre issue. I just think, unfortunately, for Mr. Glover, it's just dropped down the order. You know, this is a man that's drives in VR, he's got a motion sim and shakes himself to death at tracks like Sebring. So, you know, hopefully he'll survive this and he'll be all right. But we can see there Steve Webb giving Regis a little bit of a challenge going down into turn 3.
On the outside goes Fabio Regis, gone a little too deep there. I wonder if that was just in avoidance to Phil Glover, who maybe braked a little bit sooner than Regis had anticipated. But that is enough for Steve Webb to take advantage going by, so he'll be happy to take that one. Steve Webb making up for not completing a qualifying lap, hence why he started at the back of the grid, but at least he's made up some places nevertheless.
Yeah, he kind of wants to get to Robert Woodward if he can, get that top 10 pole for race number 2. That's kind of where you want to be. The problem is Woodward's quite far away now, so maybe I'm a little bit optimistic for Webb there. I don't know if he's quite going to get there. Lip and Lang, the double L's, are having their own little fight as they go into turn number 1.
There's Sebastian Lip, and behind him is Marcus Lang in that blue and green livery, coming through turns 1 and 2. Sebastian is keeping his car on the circuit. Heinz Braun overtakes Bruno Vitorino, and that is the reason why, the reason why Vitorino had allowed him to go by is because he had a slowdown. Yeah,
Bruno there, unfortunately it's got to be tough to get it off because you run a little bit wide there, you get a slowdown as well. We just seen that with Zoutis on the last lap. He ran a little bit wide there and he got a slowdown, which I thought was incredibly hard. Regis is having a back go at Webb, trying to get through in turn 3. Can't keep running quite as wide. He's trying to open up the corner, which is fair play to him, but he has got Mr. Bounty Hunter himself, Stefan Mellis, coming at him behind him.
And looking at Simon Edwards' pace now as well, it's only just a couple of seconds off these. He was saying that he probably wouldn't make any more positions, James. Well, I think, given by his pace over the last few laps, I am inclined to really argue that, because he is beginning to unleash what was missing from him earlier.
You reckon he's going to get that far up, do you?
Yep, I reckon he'll get by the SR8s. Well, not all of them are SR8s. Fabio Regis is there as well, but I just think Edwards has got the potential to go by them. He's got enough time.
Yeah, I just don't know if he's going to be able to. I think these guys are going to put up a good old fight for him, and I think that it's going to be a little bit too tough. But we'll see. We'll see how far he can get. Not writing him off, of course. Don't write off a. I don't even know what he is now. 8, 9-time champion. Is he 8-time champion? Reminds me of Booker T from WWE, where he's like 5 times, 5 times. You can see Edwards doing a spin-a-rooney, shouting 8 times, can't you, with his hand up in front of him? But anyway, that would be a funny video, Simon. If you watch this back, that would be amazing. But I think that we'll see how far he can get. You know, he's a good driver. Let's not take nothing away from him.
He's 1 second off Stefan Mellis now, who runs wide at turn number 4. And that will give Edwards a little bit of encouragement, maybe for the pit straight where he can sail on by. I know the SR10s aren't exactly the most favourable car through the corners, but I just think with Edwards' prowess in this machine, he knows this car from the back of his own hand, and he knows where to place the car compared to others.
Oh, dude, he prefers this car over the 8, which is most surprising considering most people prefer the 8 over the 10. You know, and I think that's the thing. I think you've got to look at it in a realistic manner. He's driven this car probably from release. He drove it through the absolutely horrible spell as Heinz Braun and Bruno Vitorino. Vitorino trying to get the inside. Oh, he managed it, but he was helped by Braun, for Braun running off the side of the circuit, which was a little bit crazy. Yeah, he drove this through an absolute horrible stage of this car, and you know, to the point where Radical had to get involved with iRacing, and they worked alongside him and said, right, let's get this 10 back, because you're kind of making us look bad. The 10 come out, you tweaked it, you got it wrong, it went all Pete Tong, and it was horrible. And I do mean horrible. People were swapping over to the 8s for their leagues. They would not take the 10s anymore. Radical, this one did it as well. We went over to an 8s for a season because it was just a shocking car. And Simon still persisted and persisted and persisted. And, you know, that's why he's God knows how many times champion.
James Berry, who's clearly got a good feel of his SR10, he posted the best lap of the race on the last tour. He's running in 3rd place now, catching the Schutskers up ahead. They've only got 1 more lap to go, so it looks like Berry may be accepting a 3rd place finish in the sprint here, but that will mean he'll be starting ahead of the Schutskers. In the feature, the top 10 are reversed for later. Robert sitting in 10th position. Mehmet Akis will be on the front row next to him provisionally, but we'll see how this last lap goes. Simon Edwards, who got by Stefan Mellis on the previous lap, is now on the tail of Fabio Regis as they begin the last lap. Regis got slowed down, so that should be easy enough for Edwards to go on by. Yeah,
it should be. He should just tuck in and shoot his way through, but the Schutskers out in front at the moment. And they're still leading the way, Alex and Christian. I don't think that's going to swap, to be blatantly honest. I'll be interested to see where Edwards gets this done. I'm not quite sure where Regis is planning on taking this slowdown off, but he needs to take it off quite quickly. He did, Simon Edwards did get through, but a couple of corners left, and Alex looks like he's going to take the win.
Yep, a great race from Alex Schutsker coming round to complete his final. Oh, that's Barry alongside Christian as well. So Barry's not done yet in this sprint race. Alex is on his way to victory, whereas Christian is under attack from the SR10 of James Barry through the last sequence of corners in this sprint. There's only 2 corners left now. There's 1 more corner to go. Can Barry beat Schutsker over the line? He needs a good drive coming out of here. But it's Alex Schutsker who's going to come through to finish at the top in the sprint race. He finishes ahead of Christian, just as what it was at Long Beach last week. James Berry finishes in 3rd place, and Sebastian Litt will hold off Marcus Lang, Christoph Litt, Bruno Vitorino was able to get by Heinz Braun, Mehmet Akis 9th, and Robert Woodward will be on reverse grid pole for the feature race.
Yeah, Edwards and Webb down to the line. Webb's going to get it. Oh no, Webb's got a penalty. So that we'll put Edwards in there. Ow, that was absolutely horribly harsh. Where I'm just going to do this the old-fashioned way, because if you have a look at where he got it, he literally
it's on the exit last corner.
Yeah, watch him just run that little bit wide there. Oh, that is tough. That is tough.
Yeah. There would be a word for me to describe that, but of course that's not suitable for broadcast, so I'll refrain from saying it. But you know, yeah, it is absolutely shocking. I don't agree with that at all.
No, that is ridiculous. Absolutely bonkers. Gave him a slowdown that close to the end, and he couldn't even take it off. That's the worst thing. He's now got a 40-second penalty for where he is. So for Steve Webb, he's had 40 seconds onto him, and he's at the back end of the grid.
Absolutely abysmal. I hope iRacing amend that in the long run, because there was no need to give such a penalty for that particular off track there, and there was not an awful lot for him to do, considering the line was only just less than 100 meters. But anyway, this is the race result for the sprint. Alex Schutzke comes out on top with Christian Schutzke in second. James Berry, the winner of the SL10s, in third place. Sebastian Lipp in fourth. Marcus Lang in fifth, with Christoph Lipp in sixth. Bruno Vitorino, Heinz Braun, Mehmet Akis and Robert Woodward round out the top 10. Woodward will start on reverse with pole for the feature. Chris Sutis and Phil Glover, 11th and 12th, followed by Simon Edwards and Fabio Regis. Stefan Millis in 15th place ahead of Rob Williams. Producers Gomez and Steve Webb, who dropped down to 18th for his penalty. Giuseppe Regis and Nuno Rodriguez didn't even... I think Rodriguez didn't make it to the end, albeit 2 laps behind.
No, look how much... down to 18th. Wow. Webb is not going to be a happy boy.
I just hope iRacing amend that for future, sessions, because there's no need to give such a penalty.
Oh, dude, it's one of the challenges of iRacing, and that's the problem. It's literally sticking. Look at Spa. It's a completely different outline of slowdowns compared to here. Look at the Red Bull Ring. At turn 8 you can touch the curve and get a slowdown, but turn 9 and 10 you can run as wide as you like. It's bonkers. They need to put a white line around the edge of the circuit and then just pull it out a meter and say anywhere a meter out of that line you'll get a slowdown or an off track or something. To give a driver a slowdown that close to the end, he blatantly can't get it off unless he pulls directly to the right and hits the brakes like an absolute rocket to try and get that off. I don't know. This whole slowdown thing does drive me bonkers within iRacing, because it's so it's not consistent. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, maybe on the last lap of the race, if it's like something like that. If he goes wide and it's not like it's an unforced error, then iRacing should give the benefit of the doubt. But the problem is, it's generated by AI. It's not a human being that's controlling that.
No, it's code. It's all just ones and zeros. Let's be real about it. But yeah, it's a bonkers thing. But there we go. Let's bring you out the grid for race number 2.
And it's Robert Woodward, who is on reverse repole ahead of Mehmet Akis, and it's Heinz Braun and Bruno Vitorino on the second row. Christoph Lipp and Marcus Lang on row 3, followed by Sebastian Lipp and James Berry. Christian Schutzke and Alex Schutzke round out the top 10. Chris Sutis and Phil Glover on row 6, followed by Simon Edwards and Fabio Regis. Stefan Millis and Rob Williams on row number 8, followed by Patricio Gomez and Steve Webb, with Giuseppe Regis and Nino Rodriguez rounding out the grid.
Yeah, there you go. Job done. Robert Woodward, pole position.
Can he convert it into the victory day? What do you reckon? Very quickly.
No. No offence, Robert, if you watch this back. He's got to be something that, Robert has struggled with over the period of time. He's got to be consistent, because he's got Akas, Braun, Vitorino, Christoph Lipp, Marcus Lang, Sebi Lipp, Barry, Schutzke's. Be a tough one for him.
Yep. Sebastian Lipp has not made it onto the grid, and the lights are coming on now. So if he was to join the race, it'll be from the pit lane. Lights are on. Lights off. It's go for the feature race here in Rudskogen, and it's Robert Woodward who leads off the grid ahead of Mehmet Akis. Watch out for Heinz Braun in the SR10 coming through into second place by the time he gets into turn 1. So there goes Braun into second place. The German making a good start. And one driver's made a brilliant start, actually, is Alex Schutzke, goes up from 10th position to 5th. And he's got the jump on his brother again.
It's got a jump on everyone. He's got literally just Christian, Barry, Vitorino, Lang. He got them all. We'll have a look at his start very, very shortly. But you can see Alex in here mixing it out with Barry. His Christian's just around the outside. Lang's got himself a slow down. There's lots of hustle and bustle going on in this bid pack on lap 1 at the moment. But Woodward is out in front. He needs to get away if he can, but I'm not quite sure how because Akas isn't under pressure from Braun. Braun's not close enough. The situation's coming from here. Barry 2, Alex 5, Christian 2. Vitorino down 4, Marcus Lang down 3, Edwards up 3. They're all coming at Robert now. This is the problem, and Woodward's got to sit there and think, well, I can't repeat what I'd like to say, but he's got to sit there and think, how is he going to manage this? Because he can only hope that they fight behind him.
So Woodward holding the field up. That's Mehmet Akis has got back into second place before the lap is out. Although we'll see how Braun gets on. He is coming through again, is Braun on the inside in the SR10 on his way through. Oh, he's going through on Robert at the same time, and they start. That was a little bit clumsy there, but he got by just about.
Yeah, I would be looking at give me the place back. You kind of shoved me off the circuit. If I was Robert Woodward, I'd be like, yeah, great send and all, but I didn't really want to get hit in the side and sent out into Neverland. Thank you very much. I ain't Peter Pan and I don't need to be out that far, but you can see now Robert's going down the order. This is the start of the decline. He's got the Lips coming at him. He's got Schutzkes coming at him. He's got Barry coming at him. You know, Robert might even be down where he started, where he finished in the last race very, very shortly. So, you know, he gave it a go, and unfortunately Heinz Braun literally nearly sent him off into yonder, and now he's got Christoph Lipp coming at him behind him.
Let's see if the stewards decide to do anything about that afterwards, but there is Christoph Lipp and James Barry tussling over position, and this is the race start. This we're going to see Alex Schutzke's start, James, because he made an absolute blinder. Was it too good of a start, though? I don't think it was too good of a start, because if it was, he would have been penalised by now. Let's have a look.
Yeah, he just gets underway and he gets off like an absolute rocket. There's a couple of wheel spins in front, Marcus Lang. Barry tried to avoid Vitorino. You can see the Schutzkes orange and white. They just go past them all. So it was kind of a bad start from Barry, Vitorino and Lang that allowed them to get up that far, which also gave Simon Edwards the bump as well. But Christoph Lipp now having a go here. He's got Simon Edwards tucked in behind, Alex Schutzke in front. Woodward still holding on to third, and Alex has just gone past Bruno Vitorino, and Barry is trying to chase down on Woodward. Woodward managing to hold on. So fair play at the moment.
An opportunity for James Barry to come away with a win. He hasn't featured a lot this season, James Barry, but he want to try and make up for that. There are drop scores involved in the Radical Race Series, but realistically, James Barry's out of championship contention anyhow. He's just going for victories and for pride, by the looks of it. But he's got Robert Woodward ahead and Mehmet Akis to go by, and then the fellow SR10 of Heinz Braun. Oh, that's a spin for Akis. Akis spins, James.
Yeah, he's just gone round, unfortunately. Robert Woodward's been off the circuit as well. But Regis and Nuno Rodriguez look like they had some problems. Mehmet Akis hasn't shown. Let's see what he did. I'll try and pick up on him if I can.
He's already losing it, actually, so there's no curb involved. He just got a tank slapper and dropped it.
Yeah, he did, unfortunately, for Mehmet. Oh, Melis, Regis, Christoph Lipp. Oh, dear.
Something has occurred involving Christoph Lipp, and then he joins his teammate on the side. And what has he managed to do here? Well, that's Simon Edwards behind. Safe at the last corner. He's going to cut back inside, isn't he?
Yeah, but he should. Oh.
Has he got damage or something?
No, I think he's just pulled over and left. Strange. I'll go on a mission. I'll try and find out. Bear with.
Yeah, Fabio Regis has opted to go back into pit lane as well. We'll find out more as to what has been going on with him. Meanwhile, James Barry has overtaken Robert Woodward for second position. 2.5 seconds off the lead now is the Brit, going after the German Heinz Braun. Barry up from 8th to 2nd. Alex Schutzke up from 10th to 4th. Won't be too long, I don't think, before Schutzke gets by Woodward for position.
Yeah, possibly. Depends on how much of a defence Woodward wants to give. Depends on how much of a fight he wants to try. If he can battle it out, he might be able to hold on. But he kind of needs Alex and Christian to have a kind of a little bit of a scrap to be able to make him get away. But I don't think that's quite going to happen at this moment in time. I think Alex may clear Robert very, very shortly.
Yeah, looks like Patricio Gomez has been in the wars as well, and he's back into pit lane. So we've lost 4 drivers now from this race. 16 still going. There's a slowdown for Chris Sutis, who's running in 10th position. Behind him is Phil Glover, who's having another respectable drive so far, as is Steve Webb. We're going to see what had happened to Patricio Gomez. This is over at turn 4.
This is his first one. There's another one not long after that.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. That's not going to help. And then I think he just goes round, or he's got bad damage. Yeah, he just goes round again. And then jumps back to pit lane and realises it's game over.
There we look at Alex Schutzker behind Rob Woodward. Vitally important for Schutzker to get by him if he is to go for the victory. It is an 18-lap affair. But these laps wind down very, very quickly. It is a quicker lap round here compared to some. Through he goes, Alex Schutzker, and it looks like Christian is about to follow suit here. Around the outside, Woodward decides not to fight that time, and allows those two to go, because otherwise, had he been battling with them, the whole field would have been coming out him just as quickly. Simon Edwards goes past Bruno Fitzarino, and Marcus Lang does so at the same time.
Yeah, Lang's got through, Edwards got through. Now it's Edwards and Woodward. So Silver's got a meatball, which we kind of saw that. He kind of hit the barrier at an absolute rapid rate of knots and did himself no favours whatsoever. Vitorino and Lang not far apart at the moment. Phil Glover, as you say, sitting in 10th at the moment. Zutis tucked in behind him. Then you've got Webb and Williams, WWs, and then Stefan Mellis in behind that. So yeah, still action to come, but I think it's going to come from whether or not this man's going to be able to get Brawn, and whether or not these two are going to be able to get him, and whether or not this man can hold on from the purple and pink.
Edwards up the hill with Woodward. Edwards has made up a ton of places so far, 13th to 6th for him, although it's not been the best of evenings for Simon Edwards compared to others, and he'll lose crucial ground in the championship to Alex Schutzker as a consequence. So it's damage limitation time for Simon. He goes past Woodward for 5th place now. He's got the two Schutzkers which he'll want to try and pass for the sake of the championship reckoning. But there is Bruno Fitzarino giving Woodward a hard time. And Marcus Lang is doing his utmost to keep his car on the circuit, and he's got Mehmet Akis, who's determined to make up after that spin earlier.
Yeah, he is. He's trying to make his way forward back again. He's sitting in 9th for the moment, down 7. Let's not forget from where he started. Rob Woodward, Vitorino and Lang. Up front, Edwards up 8. Schutzker 5. 7 for Alexander. 6 for Barry and 2 for Brawn. So that is a meteoric 26, 28 places between the top 5 they've gained. That's massive.
Barry's got the gap down to just over a second between him and Heinz Braun. Fitzarino passes Woodward for 6th place now. So he is a man going after Simon Edwards next, who is chasing the two Schutzkers up ahead. And as much as Alex Schutzker's not in the lead outright, he is the leader of the SR8s. And he'll want to remain there. But of course, the battle at the front is intensifying between Heinz Braun and James Barry. We've not even reached half race distance yet, and already we've seen a lot of action.
Yeah, we definitely have. They've been battling away quite nicely. We've got more coming here. Zutis and Glover. Is he going to be able to get through? Zutis, he tucks Glover on the inside. That's going to jeopardise Glover's exit. Zutis is going to look up the inside if he can. Nope, he's going to want to try and sweep him. He's putting Glover everywhere. Glover is not in control of this situation. Zutis is making him go where he wants him to go. Glover hasn't got a choice at this moment in time. He's either got to go and hug the white line on the left-hand side, or Zutis is going to look and think, I'm going to come through here, son, soon, and I'm going to put you where I need you. You can see Glover there as well. Silver's just come out. I think he's just come out of pit lane. He has. So Zutis again trying to position Glover where he wants him. Oh, okay, maybe not.
He's thrown it away there, Zutis. These cars, of course, don't have traction control, and sometimes if you get a little bit too greedy on the throttle, the rear end steps out and you end up falling away like a group of dominoes, or however you want to describe that, actually. But I'm sure you'll get the gist of where I was coming from with it. James Barry now attacking Heinz Braun for the lead. And Heinz Braun have gone a little bit too deep. Being put under pressure now, is Braun. This is the closest he's been to fighting for a win, I think, for a long time. And Barry, well, he knows this winning feeling. He knows the car from the back of his own hand. What has he got to do then, JP?
Pass him. I'm sorry, I had to. You left yourself open with that question. No, the thing is, Barry's got to take control of the situation. He can't let. When we talk about proactive and reactive, Braun's got to be proactive because he can't be reactive to what Barry does. He is really tough because Braun needs to put Barry where he wants him on the corner. Which sounds easy, but it's actually not, because Barry's got to be compliant and Braun's got to think, well, I need him out here at the moment because I want to take this line. So he's got to put Barry out. The problem is it's like a boxing match. It's whoever can get control of the track. And if Barry can position Braun where he wants him, Barry's got him all day. But it depends on what Braun can do. If Braun can defend, position Barry where he needs him, put him on the outside for an in-turn corner, put him on the inside for an out-turn corner, whatever he needs to do, Braun's got to try and take control. Barry, unfortunately, has got to be like a WWE wrestler. He needs to take back that control and position him, and he might just start doing that because Braun's just made that mistake.
Yeah, well, they almost got held up behind Patricio Silva, who was just getting out of the way of the field. And whilst Barry and Braun are fighting with each other, we've got the shooters closing in. So we've got a potential four-way battle for the win here. Simon Edwards, with his prowess, is 4 seconds off the top four. So you just never know. It could even be a five-way battle for the win here. Yeah,
it could well be. You see, Barry's put Braun. Braun's gone. See, if Barry could have got that stopped, Barry could have looked to come in underneath him on the exit. And unfortunately, he didn't quite manage to come underneath him, and that's kind of left Braun to take that position back. I do want to check out what's going on down in 8th and 9th at the moment, because it does look like they're having a little bit of a battle, but no, my luck, the lead will change. So I'll just stay here for a minute.
It's Woodward, Lang and Ackers in their own battle for P7, but James Barry is putting the car in all sorts of places here just to put off Heinz Braun. I don't know how long he's willing to wait around because he's got the shooters closing in and he wants to get by Braun before the shooters get onto him.
Yeah, that's the problem for Barry, isn't it? How's he going to be able to get past him and still manage to... He's got to try... He's got to get Braun. That's without a shadow of a doubt. The problem you're going to have is whether or not Barry's going to get desperate. If he gets desperate, he can make a mistake and that'll allow Alex through. If he doesn't get desperate, he's still got to play Braun and get past him. Once he gets past him, if Alex clears Braun as well, now we're just in for a straight-up fight, to be honest with you. But, yeah, unfortunately for Barry, he's got to go. You've got to go, and you've got to go soon. But at the moment, he just can't quite go soon enough. However, Braun has just given him an opportunity, but parked it on the apex on the exit.
Yeah, that was a little too deep there for Braun. Barry wasn't able to take advantage. Braun runs wide again on the exit of turn 2. And Barry surely has him before they get down towards turn 3. So he goes past. Alex Schuster is waiting in the wings, looking to go through an open door. And he does it. So Braun's error and that slowdown has cost him dear.
Yeah, and that was just either being too excited or too greedy. And unfortunately, I think it might have been the first one. I think he might have been a little bit too excited, and that allowed Alex and James to go through. So it's now down to Christian to get him, isn't it? That's what's happening there. Right, let's check out what's happening here with the Akas and Lang. They were having a good old scrap. Robert Woodward almost down back into 10th place, where he finished in race number 1, but at the moment he's sitting in 7th. Phil Glover's 3.1 back. He's in 10th at the moment. Great fighting for him. Zutis and Mellis are having a nice little battle. Mellis trying to close down on Williams. 2.3 seconds up the road. There's Silva, who has just gone another lap down. Why has Mellis got no nose cone whatsoever? And does that involve this gentleman here? Bit weird.
See, this is Chris Soutis here. This is the spin that Soutis had earlier.
So
Phil
why
Glover.
has Mellis got no nose cone? Well, at least he's got air conditioning. That's a good way of looking at it.
Not sure he would need air conditioning considering how cold Norway is, James.
Yeah, it stops him getting sweaty feet, doesn't it?
Yeah, I suppose. But Marcus Lang is still on the tail of Woodward. Akis has a slowdown, so there's no way he's going to be overtaking these anytime soon. And Christian Schuster is still on the tail of Heinz Braun for P3. How long will it be before he gets by? Now, you want to get by ASAP, so he has a chance of going after Barry and Alex Schuster for the win. But just no way through just yet, and it feels to me like he's going to bide his time and wait for an opportunity, because Heinz Braun has been missing the apex so many times. Christian is just not able to find a way through.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's not. Heinz Braun either extending the ability of his driving, or he's not quite hitting the ability of his driving. He's just over driving. So, yeah, I'm surprised Christian hasn't got through, to be blatantly honest, but it goes to show what sort of driving Braun is doing. Zitus and Mellis are having a nice little ding-dong, still a little bit further back. Again, Mellis, oh, okay. Why is it every time I jump on him, he makes a mistake?
Commentator's curse, perhaps?
No, it's a coincidence. It's not a curse, bro. I'm not having that.
Superstitions. James Barry, 1.2 seconds in the lead over Alex Schuster. Heinz Braun and Christian Schuster still nose to tail, although the gap has risen a little bit since we last looked at them. Simon Edwards has not been able to get the gap down, though, despite the fact that he's not had anyone to be battling with for quite some time. I don't know where his pace has gone, Simon Edwards, compared to earlier, but he is setting times in the low 16s, but it's not as quick comprehensively compared to what the leaders are doing.
No, definitely not. You know, for him, it's going to be quite interesting because these circuits, you sit back and you look at the lap times, you go, wow, Barry's just done a 1:15.8. Wow, you know, and I'm in a 1:16 or 1:17 or whatever, you know, 1:21 for Giuseppe Regis down the bottom here. He's just about to go a lap down, so that's going to be an interesting mate. Oh, fair play, Giuseppe. I like that. I like that a lot. I'm not racing anybody. I'm going to pull over and let you go through. So fair play. That's how you should handle blue flags, everyone. Just to let you all know before you get me on that rant. But Marcus Lang has cleared Robert Woodward. Woodward. Oh my God. Woodward now down into 8th place. He's got Akas coming at him behind him.
Did you notice Lang and Akas going over the white line on the exit of the last corner and they didn't get that yellow flag or slow down?
No, I haven't looked. I will look this time around for you though, Tom.
Well, I did see it, and that just tells you about the inconsistency of compared to what happened with Steve Webb in the first race. So we'll have a look at that in a little bit. But there goes Akis on Woodward for 8th position at turn 3. It wasn't the most difficult overtake in the world, but Akis will take that all day long, no question.
Absolutely, not a problem. So this is Mellis back together again. Here we go. Oh, into turn 3. Are they going to be able to get... No, Mellis... Oh, well, Mellis just opened the door up and went, thanks very much. Try and come through if you want to. Zutis said, thank you, I will. And now they're going to be running side by side. Oh, that is not going to help the scenario. Zutis has just gone through, so fair play to him. Braun and the Schutzkes. Well, Braun is the meat in the Schutzke bread.
Call it however you want to call it. But Heinz Braun is on the pit straight, attempting to get by Alex, who's lost ground now to James Bay. Where has he lost the time at? Because Schuster had just set us 1:17.8 compared to Barry with 1:15.9. Surely Alex made a mistake somewhere on that lap, James.
Yeah, it looks like he has. He's got the guys very, very close behind him. You are right about the white line on the end. That's very hard. Webb was no different to some of them drivers coming through that corner, and he picked up a slowdown. So, yeah, definitely harsh for me.
Christian on the tail of Heinz for the final podium position. Barry not only on his way to the SR10 victory, but the win outright. Alex Schuster the same in the SR8, leading that way. He would have liked to have been fighting out with James Barry, but second place will have to do for him. But it will do his championship chances no harm at all, considering where Simon Edwards is in the field. Edwards will be losing further ground as we approach the halfway stage in the season, with Brands Hatch coming up next. Oh, there goes Christian on Heinz. Sorry, James, to interrupt. There
right.
he is. He's put into the tight. I was going to lead for you to have you say on the where the championship is going, but Christian has finally got past Braun, and he basically pinned Braun to a tight entry to the penultimate turn and the last turn, and that was enough for Christian to go on by. But the straight line speed of the SR10 is what helps Heinz Braun to get back ahead of Christian that time around.
Saves him every single time. Speed of that 10 is nuts. I know they BOP, don't they, and they fiddle around, and I think it's just got to come back a little bit more. I really do. I don't know what the BOP is for this one. Let me have a look on that one. I will do that at the same time, and let me have a look and see if what the BOP was on here. Oh, there wasn't any BOP. It was 100% for both. So, yeah, I think that might need to just come back a little bit. It is a little bit bonkers. We saw it at Daytona, didn't we? The SL10 just ripped away, and then, yeah, I don't know. Maybe bring it back just a tad.
The remaining rounds we've got left this season are at Brands Hatch Charlotte Motor Speedway on the Roval course, Austin, Mount Panorama Bathurst, and Monza on the 5th of March on the combined layout there. And that is one certainly not to miss, especially with these cars. And I have to say, I think when I think of Monza with these machines, I think surely the SR10 is going to have the upper hand, which explains why if you're in an SR8, you have to, if you know the SR8 is going to be the more favourable machine around some circuits, you've got to be able to maximise the results in them.
Yeah, you have. And I think this is where, in the championship at the moment with Alex sitting in front, he's got to kind of maximise what he can grab. You know, we know that the 10 is quicker, and as you say, with the schedule as it is coming up at the moment, it's got to be, he's got to grab this, because the likes of Kota, I think I like Kota, but I think Kota, the 10 may dominate. Charlotte, possibly on the Roval. So, yeah, I think it could be interesting on that one.
Christian Schuster not being able to do anything about Heinz Braun at this moment in time. He hasn't got long left. There's only one more lap to go after this one. Stefan Mills has come in to finally get that bonnet repaired. He had a big gap over Giuseppe Regis anyway, so he thought he may as well just come in. Maybe try and go for a fast sub. I don't know if he's put on new tyres, Stefan Mills, in that pit stop. I think he might as well have done because he had that big of a gap over Regis anyway. But we'll see how he gets on. He's only got one attempt to go for that fast lap because he'll have the outlap to begin with. And then the last lap, which James Barry will be very happy with his drive in this feature race. Comfortably so. It took some time for him to get by the likes of Heinz Braun because he was feeling a little bit worried when the Schusters were closing him down whilst being sat behind Heinz. But he's ultimately got the job done. Yeah,
he definitely has. It looks like George might be in YouTube chat there. 45 kilos on the SR8. You are right, but why did you ballast the SR8 when the 10 is so much quicker? Like, why? If you can tell me why, that'd be great, because I'm a little bit confused. Why would you ballast a slower car and give the 10 still the advantage? But hey, who am I? I don't know. I just broadcast the thing. James Barry's going to come around, a couple of corners to go, and Christian has not got long at all.
Christian, I think, is going to run out of time, considering that Heinz Braun will have the straight line speed on the straight with his SR10. James Barry has had a race to remember. He's hardly featured this season, but whenever he is around, he usually thrives. Out of the last corner he comes. It is James Barry who takes the feature race win at Rudskogen in Norway. Great drive from Barry, and we see Alex Schuster coming through from 10th on the grid to 2nd place, and Heinz Braun rounds out the podium, and Christian Schuster has to settle for 4th place, and Simon Edwards in 5th place. But I think overall, as far as his evening is concerned and how Alex had got on, it's been a race or a round to forget really for Simon on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. No, George, I get that, but a 10's dominating on the straight still. I do understand it, mate. I get it. On the corners, that's fine, but the 10 is still dominating the straights, so the 8s can't get near it. Even on the little straight, it's still, the 8 was just left behind. So, but there we go, George. Hey, look. Anyway, your league, mate. I just sit here and commentate for you. So you do what you do, mate. You do you.
And Stefan Millis, on his final lap, I doubt he's going to be going for a fastest lap. To be honest with you, I don't think he's sitting well
as well. He crashed, unfortunately.
This on his was this on his outlap or was it the last lap?
No, outlap goes in deep, runs wide, and unfortunately, yeah, doesn't go down well. But comes over the line anyway. So we're just waiting for Rodriguez and Silva. They're coming over the line together. Rodriguez has got no nose cone. I'm not quite sure what happened to him either. So yeah, wonderful. All in all, good evening of racing.
And it is James Barry, SR10 winner, and winner outright, ahead of Alex Schuster, who's the SR8 winner. Heinz Braun 3rd, and Christian Schuster in 4th place. Simon Edwards and Bruno Vittorino in 5th and 6th. Then we got Marcus Lang in 7th place, Mehmet Akis in 8th, Robert Woodward 9th, and Phil Glover running out the top 10. Steve Webb making it back to 11th place, so at least that's something for him, ahead of Rob Williams and Chris Soutis. Stefan Millis in 14th position, and the last driver on the lead lap. Then we had Giuseppe Regis, Nuno Rodriguez, and Prisho Silva making it to the end. We lost the likes of Fabio Regis, Christoph Lipp, and Sebastian Lipp, who didn't even start that one.
Yeah, he didn't unfortunately start race number 2. I did try and find out what happened to the Lips, but unfortunately I didn't get a response. So that's a bit rubbish, but there we go. Let's have a chat with our resident chinwagger, Mr. Phil Glover there, Tom.
Phil, good evening. How was that for you?
I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was good. No idea where I finished because I can't work it out from now. We've got two classes.
Well, it was in that last race.
You were 8th in 8th in class.
Yeah.
No, 5th in class. Sorry, 10th overall.
Okay. Well, not too shabby.
No.
How are you doing, James? You all right?
Yeah, not bad, mate. You?
Yeah, good.
Good. As long as you're having fun, Phil, that's all that matters. 12th in the first race, 10th in the second race. Doing well.
Yeah. How many did we have in the end? Was it 18 or something like that?
20.
20.
20. Okay. Yeah. Well, halfway through the field's pretty good for me. I'll take that. I don't think there were any real dramas, to be honest.
No, I don't think you had any, did you, mate?
No, I had a slight tap with somebody in the first race, but yeah, apart from that, I think it was Christoph or something like that. I can't remember for sure.
There was a little bit of a ding-dong going on all the way through, mate, to be blatantly honest. So there we go.
Yeah.
We'll go to Brands Hatch next week, mate.
Oh, Brands, okay. Yeah, I don't mind Brands. Yeah, it's not too bad.
All right, mate. Well, we never know. I might actually get to see you win.
Well, you did ask me if I'd do that, didn't you? I've not fulfilled on my commitments yet.
I've been waiting 4 years, Phil. Do you think it's going to happen?
Well, you're still a young boy. There's a chance yet.
I ain't doing this
Trouble
in
is,
20
I'm not
years,
young.
mate, watching you go round. It ain't happening, dude. I'm sorry, it ain't happening.
On that bombshell, as Clarkson would say, I'll see you next week.
Yeah, take care, man.
See you, bud.
Bye. Sorry, Tom, I took over a little bit there. We got another good
To be honest, I'm all for that, JP. Don't worry about it. Let's have a word with JB himself, James Berry, who came out on top in the feature race. James, good evening. How was that for you? I'd imagine being stuck behind Heinz Braun was a little bit of a nerve-wracking one for you, considering the shoots because we're closing you down all the time.
Yeah, I suppose so. In the grand scheme of things, that wasn't a huge part of the race. It was the early laps that really counted, and I really enjoyed that. That was super fun. Just making those aggressive moves, making them stick. And I really enjoyed this track. Like, I know it's maybe not for everyone's taste, but for me, it's like really a really unique challenge. So really fun. And in the feature race there, when you have like the differential between different drivers, then you can really have some interesting racing. So yeah, really enjoyed that and managed to get past Heinz in the end. I knew if I just put him under pressure, he probably would make a mistake at some point. So just, yeah, made that work.
A brilliant victory there. What about the remaining rounds then? How many more of them can you do for this season?
I can do as many as I want, really. I didn't do Daytona because I didn't really fancy an hour around there. But for the rest of the season, yeah, I'll probably do the rest. So we'll see. I'm not really looking at the championship or anything, but just want to come and try and win the races because we've got some really great drivers now, and it's really fun battling for these wins.
Excellent. Anyone want to shout out to James before we let you go?
Yeah, absolutely. I have to shout out George Gonzaga for the work he's put into this league. It's really, I'll be honest, before this all happened, the changes to this league, we were talking about it, and I didn't think he'd be able to pull off anything like what he's done to revive it. So really hats off to him, and thank you to everyone who's joined the league to make it really what it is, because we've gone from like 8 drivers every week to 20 plus. So yeah, great stuff.
No,
Wonderful.
Agree with you there, mate.
Yeah, absolutely, James.
Well, JB, well done, and best of luck to you at Brands Hatch next week.
Yeah, thanks, guys. See you there. Cheers.
Take care.
Thank you very much. And we'll speak to Simon Edwards, who came through the field to finish in 5th place. It was a tricky first race, Simon. What exactly happened in that first race? Because you were so far behind.
While I was on the grid, I just did my normal thing, which is take my mouse off my keyboard tray, because it can sometimes bounce off, and put it on the floor. And then I did my usual push the keyboard tray away from me. And I didn't realise, well, I felt myself touch a key, but I didn't realise if I touch the Windows key, the desktop comes up in front of VR and you can't get it back off. So I'm there pressing every button I can. I can't get it off. But obviously decided to come off the grid because people were just going to pile into me, and then worked it out with the headset off, and got my desktop back off and set off again. At least I wasn't so far behind that I didn't get to race anybody that race. So, yeah, and that second race was just crazy.
Yeah, there was so many drivers just sort of battling amongst themselves, and you just took advantage. I mean, you did overtake a few cars actually in that first race, so at least a little bit of practice for race number 2. But after that one, then of Rudskogen, have you raced around Rudskogen before? Because I've said to James earlier that it's not a circuit I was familiar with before tonight.
I had a best lap that was from 3 years ago, so I've either practiced it or we had a race there. But I couldn't remember it when I went to practice it on Monday. So, and then I don't really like it that much. There's too much twisty bit that everybody's stuck behind each other. Couldn't even overtake back markers. I lost loads of time behind them.
5 rounds down, 5 to go. Sorry, were you going to say something there, JP?
No, I was just agreeing in a JP kind of way. I was just, I agree with Simon. I don't like this circuit at all.
Well, now that this circuit is done and out of the way, what about the remainder of the circuit? It's 5 rounds down, 5 to go. We've got Brands, we've got Charlotte Motor Speedway on the Roval, we've got Austin, we've got Mount Panorama, and we've got Monza on the combined layout. Any of those your picks?
Well, I love Bathurst always. I like hot lapping Brands, but it's not always great for racing on. Again, it's all corners, and you can't really get a run at anybody out of any of them most of the time. So it can be horrible for racing. What else did we have in there? We got a Roval. Yeah, all right. Yeah, and Monza we're doing as another one of those endurance, but hopefully we'll grid up properly this time. Yeah.
Anyone want to shout out to Simon before we let you go?
Let's give a shout out to James. I didn't think anybody could beat the SR8s on pace today, and James managed to outpace them in that second race.
Excellent. Simon, well done tonight. I know it hasn't been the best of rounds for you, but I'm sure there'll be an improvement in the coming rounds, particularly at Brands Hatch, which I believe anyway will be your kind of circuit. So who knows? 7 days' time we may see you back on the top step.
Great. Thank you, guys.
That was Simon Edwards that finishing in 5th place in the feature race after a tricky first one, but he never gave in as always. JP, it's been that sort of round here at Rudskogen. New territory for some of these perhaps, but at least we've learned something from this venue.
Yeah, it's still horrible.
Is it really?
I don't like it. The racing was good, but that's down to the drivers. It's not down to the track. As Simon said, there's too much in it, too many twisty bits, and God knows what else. Yeah, give me Brands next week. Looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I'm sure we all are as well. At the end of that round, Alex Schutzer came out on top in the sprint race ahead of his brother, just like what we saw at Long Beach 7 days ago. And in the feature, James Barry carved his way through past particularly the likes of Heinz Braun and all that to take victory in the feature race and at least moving him up the standings. No harm at all there. If you have enjoyed the action, do make sure you like and subscribe, and that way you won't miss a thing, including the Radical Race series. And a thank you to all the drivers who have competed tonight and to everyone that's tuned in to watch. And we look forward to Brands Hatch that kickstarts the second half of the season. I am Tom Cairns with James Parfitt, and we'll speak to you again soon when the Radical Race series returns.